What's up, guys? Bruno Frazatto here, head coach from Atos HL and the owner of Atos HL. I'm here with Alex Enriquez, black belt world champ. After like 2 days after she won her first world title. How are you feeling, Alex?
I feel great, really ecstatic from the support from everyone at the gym, coming home, and family and all that, and all the hard work put in. It just feels like it was supposed to be like this, and
Yeah.
it's good that I was able to accomplish that goal.
It's a different feeling, right? Like
Yeah.
when you already have won as a brown belt, but like when you win as a black belt, it's a different feeling, right? Because it's something that when you start to train, when you start to compete, it's something that you have a dream of, and then when you accomplish it, it's different, right?
Yeah, it's just like, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 13, almost 14 years, and
Yeah.
it was one of my like dreams when I first started. I was like, okay, I told my coach at the time, when he asked, what do you want out of jiu-jitsu? I was like, I want to be a black belt world champion. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick to this.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised I'm still here now, and it took 12, 13 years to accomplish that goal. Two
Yeah.
tries. So like last year, black belt, I got third.
Yeah, it was your first year, right? Your hook year as a black belt.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a very good performance. But I think all the work that we have put on, and all the years that you worked for it, like I think now you are ready to win the major terms, the big titles, right?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way too.
Yeah, I think
preparation.
you're in like in the top of the division, and I feel like, of course, like it's important to understand that like sometimes you're gonna lose, but because it's part of the game. But I think we are on the right track to win big things, right? How you feel about that?
No, I totally agree. I feel like under your mentorship, and you could ask a lot of the other competitors and even just hobbyists at the gym, the way they feel about learning under you, learning the systems that we go over at the academy. It's so easy to develop new skills that it transfers so well. As in when we get to the competition, I've seen everything already.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a matter of like performing at the same capability that I have when I'm in training, and transferring that onto the competition.
Yeah, like I feel you very mature now, and in performance in big stages. Like you shine when time's to go, and I feel like it's something that high level athletes and people that win big tournaments need to have. Like pull the trigger when you have to pull the trigger, and I feel like you have that, and it's extremely important in order to win big things, because some people shine. Some people freaking out and get nervous, get in their head, and they cannot perform. And I feel like every time it's time to perform, I know you're gonna perform, and this is extremely important in order to have a chance to win those competitions against people that is gonna perform, is gonna show up as well. You always show up, and this is extremely important. One thing that I feel, and I think you have the same feeling, because you start in very young age, that helps a lot, right? Like because you start to compete was you're young, and you kind of like you get used to do it, and for you like your competition is just one more day, right? Like I think nowadays it's getting harder and harder to people become high level athletes, especially in jiu-jitsu, if you're not start in the young age. What do you think about that?
Oh, I definitely agree. I mean, that's why now I'm trying to do as much competition, accomplish all the titles right now, because I know it's just gonna get harder and harder. Like I look at the kids program, and they're doing the same, if not more, advanced fundamentals that like that we're learning in the adults classes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. They're absorbing the technique. They're doing it. They look even better than the adults. And I'm like, okay, I have to win now or
Yeah.
else it's going to be way harder.
Yeah.
But in like even like 3-4 years. So, yeah, like you said, like having that experience as a child and then being able to compete all the time, it made competition a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, the mental, the anxiety,
Yeah.
all the factors that go into competition.
Yeah.
And the more you do it more consistently, like we've gotten to a point where I'm competing maybe once a month at least.
Yeah.
For the past 2 or 3 years that
Yes.
we've been here,
Yeah.
and it makes it so much easier. But I
Yeah.
know, like for example, right after COVID, after that break, I was so nervous coming back
Was to remember was the
Yeah.
like your first year here when you just opened the gym, and
Yeah.
then when I remember like the gym is still like closed doors, and we start to do some private with Faye,
Yeah.
and
There's
then
still
we did
tape
it,
on the mat where
tape on the
you're
mat, yeah. Then you did the switch, and well, I remember the first competition after COVID was, man, like even like myself like coaching was kind of like
this
kinda
is
like,
weird.
yeah,
Like, oh, this is back
I'm
to
here again. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Going back to normal life, and I was like, okay, and we'll see how I do.
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, do I still have it? Like
Yeah.
it was then like I wasn't sure around then if I still wanted to do jiu-jitsu like professionally.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna test the waters, but I know I wanted to, keep elevating my jiu-jitsu. I wanted
Yeah.
to keep getting better, and I know, like after had working with you, like all the privates over the summer of
Yeah.
COVID, I was
We
like,
did
man,
many privates, right?
yeah, like all the time, and he would just stay for like hours, and I'm like, Bruno,
Yeah.
don't you have to go? He's like, no, we're having fun. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah.
like this guy really loves jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, we
so,
did it many rounds, and
man.
yeah, it was a point like I wasn't teaching, and I was like, man, I want to be on the mat. Yeah.
It was awesome. It was really
Yeah, and it was like a great experience, like for me as a coach when I have the experience like see you competing, and like being your corner, and kind of like I was pretty much like a video game with you, always being like so easy to coaching you, and that brought like the other thing that I want to talk about. I feel like as an athlete or whatever you want to accomplish in life, you need to have the work ethic, and put the hours and do things that people not willing to do, and you always willing to do, and that's something that I saw in, like as we start to work together. Like I saw that you're a person that doesn't matter how many hours you have to training, how many hours you have to teach, you always willing to do it, and I knew that in that point that if you stick with the plan, you would become your world champion, and that's something that just some people has, and if you don't have, you cannot accomplish big things. I feel like you're living a generation of people that they want a lot, but they're not willing to do the things that has to be done in order to accomplish. And I think that was something that brought my attention a lot when I started to work with you, because I knew that if you stick with the plan and if you stay consistently, we would accomplish big things. And of course, we still have a lot of things to accomplish, but I think that is something that is extremely important. And I would like to know, like, from who and how you develop that skill, because I believe it's a skill,
Yeah, I definitely have to say that, like, my parents, they were immigrants from the Philippines. We came to the States when I was around like 5-6 years old, like first grade, and my parents like were pretty well off in the Philippines. They had really great jobs. And when we came to the States, they kind of started over from nothing. They started over from like zero, and my parents like swallowed their pride. They were working like 2-3 jobs. I was basically babysitting my little brother, and I was, also like
a baby.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just like hopefully the house doesn't burn down.
Yeah.
So I had like a basic Nokia phone, like, and so it was just so I could call my mom in case. I was like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
How do I
handle
cook?
this
Yeah,
thing?
exactly. And so like I just saw how hard my parents worked, and I didn't see any other way. And
Yeah.
so it was brand new to me when as I got older and I saw other people like just being okay with just doing the bare minimum, or as I got older working in a restaurant especially, and I started off as like a busser, a hostess, doing all the the dirty work and stuff, and I didn't mind it. And I'd see like my coworkers, and they were just like so lazy. I was like, there's more work to be done. Why aren't you doing it? And so I always felt like no matter what job I was doing, it was still a representation of myself. So if I'm going to be a server, I'm going to be the best server, or, so when it came to jiu-jitsu, the very first day, like I loved it. I fell in love with it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this as much as I can. And, when you're young, I feel like you have no other responsibilities. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to train as much. And my parents would be at work. So my coaches would pick me up from the house or pick me up from school and take me to practice too. And some of the days where none of the kids showed up, I was just like getting privates all the time. So, and I just loved it. And I saw like, some people talk about burning out. And because I feel like I was passionate about jiu-jitsu, I never felt that like burning out. Like I felt like jiu-jitsu was like the place I always wanted to be if everything else was going wrong. It was just like the safe space for me. So
yeah, I feel exact same way. Like I think I learned like that mindset and that work ethic with my grandpa. Well, my mom and my dad, they get divorced when I was super young age, and we need to move to my grandpa's house, and my grandpa used to be a dentist, and he need to work like extra hours because it's me, like my grandma and my mom and my two brothers, and he need to work like extra hours, like with like see him at the house like maybe 1 or 2 hours a day and getting late from the work, but he still like love what he was doing. And I think it's very important for a kids, for a young child, have a person to look after, like a person who has that, because in the end of the day, it's all about the mindset, right? It's the way how, you put your brand and you put your goal and your focus, and that to achieve those goals, you're gonna need to put the work, and in the end of the day, soon or late, it's gonna pay off, and I think that's something that we work with kids, and it's such be that model for the kids, and show them how it's supposed to be. It's huge today because like a lot of times the parents is not around them, and it's something that we have to be always aware of, because you are not just teaching them jiu-jitsu, right? We are teaching them something that is way more than that. Like you're helping educate them to a better world. And like I say, like this generation is kind of like so lazy, and if you can, help them be a better generation, I think you'll be great. And yeah, I think all those tools that you have is extremely important. And I see you as a leader as well, in the gym, and I know the future is soon. You want to have an academy by your own, and I think you're gonna be a great leader. And for sure, you're gonna succeed on this as well. And I'm really, really like proud and happy you'll be part of your team, and you will be able to work together on all those things. 2000, like this year was such a great year for you. I took some notes from the titles that you won, because it's so many. And I think it was like your best year, not just because, you won most of the things that you fight, but like the performance that you have in against big names, what is extremely important. Like some people, when they get in that level where they start to face big names, they either, start to win and start to get in that, group of people that only win, or you start to lose and you start to get frustrated, and you start to get, you start to get doubts about you, and then things start to going south. And I think like that was one of the most important things that happens this year. You start to win against big names, and then you know, make you get more confident, and now we start to translate your matches. You know, so in January you start winning like a finishers against like the former champ Gracie Gundrew. Remember that fight was really hard fight.
Yeah, it went down to overtime. We had a 15-minute regulation. Not much like I was trying to pass her guard. She was trying to enter my legs. I was getting close a few times, but not too much happened. And then in overtime, I was able to win via ride time, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a big, you know, camp because we knew, like, you know, EBI is their game.
Yeah.
And we were also at her home gym.
Yeah,
so
and she's great.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody was cheering for her. Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot of things going on, a lot of noise. But, like, we worked so hard, especially knowing that, like, she's really good at arm bars and overtime. We studied so much.
Yeah. And you work like through the Christmas break in my garage.
Exactly. Yeah,
yes.
I would go over to your house and you know,
you work arm bar skate.
Exactly.
I was studying like hours, like studying Danaher, like a Professor John Danaher hours, like how to, you know, escape from those situations, and you work like so many rounds in the garage. Like
paid off.
Pays off. Then after that, you defend your fight to win title against Brie, and was a like in home. It was a very good match as well. Then after that, like you traveling around the world, and you got engaged.
Yes. Yeah. Went to the
engaged.
Philippines. Went back home. I hadn't been back home since my family had immigrated.
Yeah.
So it was like 20 years. It was really cool to get to experience the Philippines as, like, you know, an adult now, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I was kind of like I was worried a little bit because like you kicked the year super well, and
and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go on vacation.
Yeah, she's going on vacation,
for a
but
month.
I think it was good for you because I think it was a time that you could enjoy Faye and you know and see how jiu-jitsu can open like your titles and your name can open doors for you, and you teach some seminars and you know like people recognize you, and I think it was great. Like I think when you come back, you are a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
And then after that, you won the Medusa combat jiu-jitsu.
Combat jiu-jitsu. Yeah, that I didn't. So after I had won finishers and that match against Grace, I immediately got a message from Master Eddie Bravo, and he was like, I have a spot on combat jiu-jitsu Medusa in Mexico in March. He's like, do you want it? And I had maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes, it was 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, right after we got back from the Philippines, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go straight into, you know, weight cutting and into the camp.
Yeah.
And I've never done anything like combat jiu-jitsu. I've had very minimal like striking background, like growing up, like just taking cardio kickboxing classes. I had one amateur MMA fight when I was 17, and I basically just did jiu-jitsu in that match. So it was I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I knew I was good at EBI, and but you know it was an interesting format. And when I got there, as soon as I saw the first match, I was like, this is real. They're slapping each other. I was like, they're trying to kill each other. And fortunately, I was able to walk away with the title. You know. Yeah,
I think like your skills, you know, like you are of course one of the best in the world, and like your skills the skills that you have, you know, is you can win whatever competition, even a MMA fight, you know, like just doing grappling. So then after that we have the debut in the Who's Number One, was something that we are like looking forward to do it, and was the only fight in the year that you lost. I think it was a very hard loss for us as a team, because you really want to win and fight for the title. You are like planning to fight for the title after that fight. But was against Tubby, and she brought a totally different strategy, and she, like her team and her beat us in the strategy, and was a very was hard to take, you know, but I think it make us more professional, and you know, study more and take things more serious, and make us overall like a better team, you know. What do you think about that? What do you think about that loss?
Yeah, Personally, I definitely took that loss very harshly on myself, because I know, like, I never blame. Anytime I lose, I take full responsibility. I would never, put blame on my teammates or coaches or anything outside, regardless of, whatever situations were going on around that, or health reasons. But I was getting to a point after I had such big wins, and the camp was going so well, and I felt like mentally, I felt like I was getting to the point where it was like, okay, I really believed myself to be like the number one at like 125. And I feel like in order to be like a high level athlete, you need to fully believe that. So no matter if you're not, but like to be the best, you have to believe it. And so it was, I took that loss like very, very personally, and so with that loss, I was like, okay, what do I need to, after about a few days, a week of like kind of mourning that loss, I was like, okay, I still want to do jiu-jitsu professionally. I still want this to be my career. So what am I going to do differently? How am I going to recover from this? How am I going to keep moving forward so that I could start? I know I was like, okay, I go down in ranks, and then I have to climb back up. So what do I have to do to climb back up? So I quickly got over it after a week, and went back to training.
That was like, all the champions that I be around like through my life, and it's exactly like this. Like, you lost, you need to kind of like sit down and think about the loss and understand the reason why, and go over the reasons, and to don't make the same mistakes again. And then after that, you need to back to work. That's what the champion does, because like losing a match doesn't define who you are and who you want to become. It's just like a part of the process. And as long as you understand that, and you have the mindset, the work ethic to come back to the gym and do what has to be supposed to be done in order to accomplish what you dream of or what you plan of, is what the champion does, and that's what you're doing. So then after that, you won the World Grappling Championship.
Yeah, we went to Poland.
Right.
Poland. That was cool. That was so I learned about this Team USA World Grappling or Championships through Paul Ardea, another an ADCC vet from Atlanta.
Yeah, great athlete.
And he was telling me like, oh yeah, if you win the trials, it's an all expense paid trip to travel. And the year before they went to Barcelona, Spain, and I was like, I've always wanted to, part of my goals in jiu-jitsu is to use jiu-jitsu to be able to see the world. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take this opportunity. I'm gonna go do the trials. I'm gonna try to win it so I could go to Poland. I've never been, and I was able to win the trials. I feel like the rule set itself really follows my game, because it's a very heavy wrestling based rule set, and they even to the point where they have very similar point systems as wrestling. So honestly, out of all the rule sets, I feel like there wasn't a better rule set for me, and it was cool to kind of go back to my wrestling roots and compete at international level, where when we got there to Poland, it was so cool to see like people actually representing their countries all over the world. And then at the end, at the podium, they raised the flags and they were singing the national anthem, and that kind of like brought it like, oh my gosh,
that's
is
a good
so
feeling,
real.
right?
Yeah, so I was like, this is real. And the fact that Faye, my fiance Faye, also won at the same time. We were at the same, like, there was 3 matches, all of them were finals matches, and we won like basically simultaneously. It was amazing. It was like kind of like a Cinderella story. It was really cool.
It's a great experience. And then after that, like, you won double gold at DCC Open, and like you say, like, I always told you that, like, I always tell you that, like, I think you're wrestling, you have such a strong wrestling game, and that because you worked for so many years with a great coach, and you have such a good wrestling background. And when you won that double gold in DCC Open, say, all right, like, she's ready for the trials. and then after that you won is the DCC trials in a very fashion way with a great performance, beat some athletes that you never beat before, and they elevate your level and put your name out there, and now winning, the no-gi words, just tell that like you are in the top of the division, and I can't wait for next year for DCC, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the plan. We still have to do West Coast trials, and regardless, the goal is to win West Coast trials. I would definitely love to earn, to solidify my spot into that 55 kg category. But I mean, that's the goal. I'm going to be chasing that spot. If for some reason I don't win West Coast trials, I'm going to be doing all the tournaments that it takes to be able to get an invite at ADCC. But that's going to be the goal. That's my current goal, is to be ADCC world champ.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I believe you will be. I think you have all the tools to be, and I think you'll be like sooner or later. And I hope next year.
Yeah, it'll be amazing.
T-Mobile Arena, 18,000 people is gonna be insane.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like you were saying earlier, about people who crumble under the lights and stuff. I love it. I never thought, I was wondering when I first got onto the first big stage if I would like performing in front of a crowd or under all the production of all the lights, the sound and stuff, and I loved it. It was amazing, and so I felt okay, yeah, I could do this. Even if I'm not the best competitor, which I already believe I am, but I just have to be the best at that time. And I feel with nothing, with the production, the lights, the fans, is gonna disrupt me from being able to accomplish that. I feel I'm in the zone. I love it. It even makes me feel okay, I'm definitely gonna win this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I always prefer to compete in big stages where everybody's watching. I think that's when you bring the best of yourself. And like I say, some people have, some people don't. And DCC definitely you'll be crazy, and it's such a special, thing to be in that bracket when is in your division is just 8 athletes, in the men's division just 16, the best in the world. You deserve it to be there, because if you're not deserved, you're not there. And you're gonna feel how it's such a special tournament, and I'm excited to be in your corner and see how you're gonna perform there. With that all said, what do you have as a dream of your career?
What do I want out of my career is that I think you referred to it earlier, but I do want to open my own academy in the future, and hoping to, to continue working with you. Of course, I haven't 100% decided whether I want to stay in the state or open an academy outside of Georgia, but I mean, I'd like to, I always talk with you and look for your guidance and things like that, and as looking as you already are a successful businessman and running this the way I love the way that you run the academy here, and I feel I have so much to learn, so much more to learn from you, as well as from jiu-jitsu, as well as on the business side of things. So that's definitely the goal. I've always loved teaching. I was able to start teaching at a young age and in the kids classes, and I feel I was able to learn a lot along the way of.
Yeah, you're a great coach. Everybody love your class, and I feel, I think one of the special things that we have, you always have conversations. You always talk, and I think we have a respect for each other. You respect me, and I respect you as a person. Now, what you accomplish, you respect each other, and I think it's the base from any relationship. And we always talk, and we always have a great communication, and you can be honest with each other and be clear to see the big picture, and you never work in the blind. You always have a plan to go. Is the way how should be in order to accomplish big things. And I think we are on the right path, and you're gonna continue shocking the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
ADCC world champ, IBJJF gi world champ. I'm gonna put the gi back on. I'm
Yes.
gonna get that, and then after that, I'm ready to open my gym.
That's good.
Whichever. It could be in whatever order.
Sounds
but
good.
those three.
Yeah, can't wait to see that. Thanks for the
Thank-
conversation.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.